You're listening to the Unbelievers Podcast.
There were several groups. One of the principal ones was the reptilians from the Orion complex.
Without any exaggeration, it was like being on fire inside.
Rats were eating you up inside.
This stuff was in my mouth. It felt like it was 500 grams. It was unbelievably hot.
My first question would be, were you a member of the Church of Satan, a card-carrying member of the Church of Satan?
I don't understand.
There's always an argument for everything, you know? Just because somebody can fake something doesn't necessarily mean it's
War, and we found a life form. And that's when I started shitting my pants.
So for the person who called, I am carrying an alien.
An alien, but I mean, we covered right here, okay?
Something is happening. What is it? That's the question. So do UFOs exist? It depends on what you mean exist.
Alien encounters come in many different forms and classifications, from simple sightings of UFOs to finding physical traces of objects to encountering actual alien beings and making contact. While these occurrences are experienced by only a small portion of the population, an even smaller percentage have not only made contact with alien visitors, they've got to take it to the next level. It is these individuals that we will be discussing tonight as the Unbelievers Podcast goes back to its roots to break down even more salaciously sexy claims from seemingly ordinary men and women who have had the pleasure and displeasure of knowing extraterrestrials on an intimate level. So, stop touching all the babies and hands where we can see them, because it's time, once again, for an all-new exciting Alien Love Fest. Right in the program, we continue to learn to unlearn everything you know. Hello and welcome to the Unbelievers Podcast. I'm Rus Ryan, and joining me as always is Drea Mora. Hello, Drea.
Hello.
Hello there. And of course, soundboard engineer and producer, Rob Okey.
I'm a wet huckleberry. Hell yeah! What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Hell yeah.
Pretty good.
We're here, and it's episode 180. And man, wouldn't you think for this we'd like do a complete 180? But no, we are not. We are staying very squarely in our lane for this. One of the kind of the last chronological Rob episodes, Rob.
Yeah. This is my last one.
Don't even say that.
It's my last one as a full time. Yeah, we're going to start off a little sad. It's fine. But we're going to move right along after this. This is my last one as a full-time host. But I'll be back. It's not the end. Like, I'm sure there'll be a time soon. I mean, Russ and I were already just discussing doing a stream, sometime soon to discuss this past weekend that I had at Contact in the Desert. So,
oh, right.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. It's just not going to be every single episode. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Right. And in honor of this, like I said, this is episode 180. You'd think we would take some kind of 180, but no.
What would a 180 be for us to talk about how none of these things exist?
I don't know, talk about politics or something. I don't know.
That would suck if we did all of this just to start talking about politics of the 180th episode.
No way. We are staying squarely in our
quit.
lane. We're taking it right back to where we started. Let's get into it now. It's time for Alien Love Fest 2.
Yeah. This is something a little different. But it's true. Yeah. I don't want a fucking alien. 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 Probably got green skin. Probably got 3 tits. Probably got 2 dicks. Shit is probably super lit. She got slimy peanut butter puss. Gotta make that shit.
Yeah, that gets me in the mood. The mood for lovin'. But not just any old lovin', because tonight we circle back to where it all started for this special episode 180 of the Unbelievers Podcast. It's going to be a love fest, an alien love fest, part 2, which I'm going to say we are recording on June 9th. That would be 6/9. It is all lining up for us doing this episode.
Dude.
Okay.
I did not even think about that.
So you guys excited for this? I'm all jitty. Like my leg is shaking.
I am now. I'm sorry, your what is shaking?
Everything, especially after that song.
Oh, yeah, everything is shaking.
Props to the intro song, right? That was some good stuff.
What did it say about alien puss gonna make it mush?
I don't know. I love that. I want to listen to that. As soon as we get done, I'm playing that song.
It was disgusting and terrible, and I want to hear more.
It was so good. Yeah. Oh, my God.
That's a new one in the Unbelievers lore songs. We'll have to keep that one around. But Like I mentioned, I'm excited because in our first installment of Alien Love Fest, episode 1, the Phantom Menace of this program, we discussed a myriad of individuals who claim to have sexual encounters with beings from beyond the stars, people such as Stephanie Faye Cohen and her space lover, and Cat Gran. And we talked about that Chinese gentleman whose name escapes me.
Zhao Mengo. Something like that. I'm so sorry. I should know. He was the one that I brought into it.
That sounds right. We also talked to Count Smokula and Pamela Stonebrook and the rest. It was a total Alien Love Fest. Mao Zedong or something like that. It was like it was
close.
That sounds right. That sounds right.
It was
like
so good that we remember every part of it.
Yes, it was great.
It was about 6 years ago. Holy shit!
I just remember him floating around, cucking his wife above him. That was the takeaway of that one. Well, I have some all new
Michelin Tire Man. Yeah.
Oh yes. Nice. I have some all new, salaciously sexy space stories that we're going to get into now. And our first is strangely going to intersect with another topic of the past, rock and roll strangeness, because it involves a story I believed we talked about on that episode. You are all aware of the Red Rocker, Sammy Hagar, yes?
I hate that name, Red Rocket.
The Red Rocker. I didn't see Red Rocket.
Yeah, no. I heard what I heard. And I said what I said.
Sammy Hagar, he is, I guess, the second best lead singer of Van Halen ever.
He's the former second singer of Van Halen.
Yeah, third.
He's known for
he's all right.
Can't Drive 55 fame. I'm going to give a little quick reminder of his tale. It was in an interview for his new book, Red, My Uncensored Life in Rock, at mtvhive.com. Hagar lets go of what even he admits might make him, quote, sound like a crazy person to some readers. He and the reporter are talking about dreams he claims to have had about UFOs, and when asked whether he believed he had been abducted, Hagar answered, I think I have. He goes on to explain that a passage in the book describes as a dream in which he is contacted by aliens from outer space in California was in fact reality. The tale describes how the beings tapped into his mind through a wireless connection. It was real, Hagar told the reporter. They're like plugged into me. It was a download situation. Or they uploaded something from my brain. It's like an experiment. So Hagar goes on to describe another experience at the age of 4 where he believes he saw an alien spaceship in broad daylight hovering over a country field where his family lived. We discussed this, but we did not get the whole story, which we will get now from none other than David Lee Roth, the original singer of Van Halen and bitter rival of Sammy Hagar.
He's going to tell Sammy Hagar's story?
Yes.
Yeah, I really like that. We had to change his name though to protect the innocent. We changed it to Hagar.
Yeah,
but
Hagar
David
the
Lee
horrible.
Roth is
I caught myself doing it too.
Sammy Hagar. I don't even know who that person is.
It's a southern interpretation of that saying. Down here they call him Hagar. So I want to note. I'm going to note that this came hot off the heels of Sammy Hagar's comments that David Lee Roth's singing is, quote, embarrassing. And reacting to this in a very mature way, David Lee Roth came forward with this revelation regarding Sammy's alien experience. And keep in mind, DLR fancies himself a storyteller. So this takes a little while to get to, but here is the setup from David Lee Roth.
We begin the story arc. Sam grows up in a little faraway fringe town called Fontana. And back in the 60s, when he was growing up, it took about an hour and a half to drive there from Pasadena, and we used to refer to it as Fontucky. Sam has a relatively normal upbringing, the usual mom cries, dad yells. But then something unusual happens, and I'm going along with what I've read on the internet, specifically here. I would never dare impugn or infer or even imagine this out loud. But according to Sam, he was abducted by aliens. So that begins his story arc. He's 15 years old. He's out in the park. He's going to go meet the other kids to smoke Marlboros and, hang out with the girls and everything. And I'm assuming it's a flying saucer. Tom, you're technical. I'm not. I'm analog. You're digital. Would it be a beam? A tractor beam? Or would it be a saucer shape? What would happen? Would Sam get sucked up instantly or...
Okay. I want to mention, DLR sounds real old now. He's got that denture smack going on, right?
Oh, the mouth sounds, yeah.
A lot of mouth sounds. Bad mouth sounds. It's strange. He sounds kind of like George Norrie now, dude. Like the way he chews on his words when he talks and that like deep tone. I don't know, man. He's kind of got like a Nori vibe going
The
on.
sonorous.
And he is a radio veteran. He actually took over for Howard Stern when he left terrestrial radio for like a week, and his show was quickly canceled. Yeah, so it was a very quick run. David Lee Roth had trying to be the next Howard Stern. But I do like, so this is from his podcast. I do like it that he chooses to focus on Sammy Hagar's alien encounter in this podcast episode. Because remember, he is mad David Lee Roth was called embarrassing by Sammy Hagar. And
I can't believe he called him digital. That's such a weird diss.
No, and he's actually talking to his Rob.
It's like,
he's talking
how
to his
dare you
Rob.
call me not analog?
He's talking to his producer.
He has a Rob. He has like a producer guy there with him, and he's trying to relay this. That's who he is speaking with. That guy, I didn't bother. He barely says anything. So when he was talking about that, he was saying that he's analog, his producer's digital. He goes on tangents, and because this was a lot harder to clip than you might think, because David Lee Roth is all over the place all the time. So after asking that question, he goes on a bit of a monologue about keg parties and Bob's Big Boys Burgers. I'm going to drop us in on the tail end of that, which leads to what we really care about.
Buddhist question. Is it the French fry or the salt? There is no answer. More Buddhist question. Is it the iceberg lettuce or the Bob's Big Boy blue cheese dressing? There is no answer, and yet the question remains. And that's why I'm going to invoke, this is a question we all know, like one hand clapping. Can we ever know this? We don't know. We may never know. But one thing I do know, when you order the Bob's Big Boy cheeseburger, the salad and the fries just come with. And another thing I know, that when you're abducted by aliens, you get sex probed. I am compelled to solicit this sordid subject in an effort to explain Sam Hagar's conduct. For the last 10 summers, I haven't said a single syllable about him. Not one. I defy you. And in the face of a constant fart gas aimed in our direction here at the Mojo Dojo Diamond Dave Laboratories. And I think we've arrived at both the technical and the medical answer that may explain some of Sammy Hagar's conduct and his constant spew of diarrhea vitriol in our direction. Sammy Hagar was abducted by aliens, and he was sex probed, Tom. Sex probed.
Oh, God. Jesus.
Sex probe. Is all probing sex? I think he just wants to dunk on Sammy Hagar.
No, I think there must be a difference, or else he wouldn't have said the term sex probed versus just probed. He would have just said, like, yeah, he was probed. And he said, no, he was sex probed.
It did seem like it came out of nowhere.
He meant what he said.
I wasn't expecting that. It was like he was talking. He sounded like just a crazy person on the street for a minute, and then all of a sudden broke into dissing Sammy Hagar's UFO experience.
And that's what made him sound like he was not a crazy person off the street to you.
I don't know. It was like
now he's making sense.
It was a strange pivot, and I don't know. Like, this man is unhinged. This is the perfect example of why not everybody needs a podcast. And some people, like, he's a singer. Maybe keep singing. He's better at singing than he is at talking, obviously.
Well, no, because they're saying singing is embarrassing. I almost got a chance to see him, but when COVID canceled that, he was going to be opening for Kiss in our local arena. That got canceled, so I could have seen him live. So I can't say if his singing is embarrassing, but I got some soundboard clips for that because he said a lot like,
"Can we ever know this? We don't know. We may never know."
He just said, "We don't know. We may never know." He
was sounding really Shatner-like, even
his. The mouth sounds.
I like his Roth show thing, though. Rob, I know you're producing shows. You got to get something like Roth show. Like,
when you're abducted by aliens, you get sex probed. Roth show.
I hate that. I hate that.
That was actually, I hated that too. Yeah. I don't think
if you hate that, for all you fart lovers,
constant fart gas aimed in our direction here.
Like, what?
At least they didn't do the morning zoo thing with the sound effects right after that. So.
Roth show.
Someone needs to get...
I'll give them that much credit, I guess.
I almost isolated Roth show to be super annoying tonight every time we go through.
Yeah,
let's move on.
Don't.
Roth show.
He's off the rocker. He needs his meds, whatever's going on. But someone please help this man.
Yeah, well, I got one more from that.
I don't think anybody can.
Sex probed.
I had to keep the little mouth noise and sigh in the back there, the denture click, the everything in there. Nice little clip he's got there. So the way he's talking, I wonder if DLR himself has had any contact with aliens, and he's going to address that in this next clip.
I don't know anything about extraterrestrials. I myself am a prober. And yes, back in high school, I know a gal whose parents, and consequently they had no green cards. Her parents actually came across the river. They swam. She was Hispanic. Her name was Eileen, and she was an illegal alien. And after a few hits on the bong, I referred to her, and she would giggle as illegal Eileen. That's the closest I get to actual physical contact with aliens. And yes, I probed her many times.
Oh, come on.
Judging from her response and further requests, I sent that girl into outer fucking space.
Why is he mentioning this? He's so old and fried. I don't think he cares at all what he says on the internet. He's like, I'm David Lee, motherfucking Roth. Poor Eileen's going to get thrown under the bus.
He's into bad stand-up territory.
I mean, would you care at that point?
I guess not. Yeah, he's naming her and everything. Illegal Eileen, he's saying,
I sent that girl into outer fucking space.
That's terrible. That's such a terrible thing to say.
Yeah,
I definitely wouldn't talk about somebody like that.
Illegal aliens is like almost a dead term people don't use anymore. She's undocumented, right? This shouldn't count in the alien love fest here, but David Lee Roth.
And yet here we are. Russ has included
David Lee Roth did. It's not me.
David Lee Roth's boomer is showing. You know, that's what's going on right now.
He is fun to clip. I have a bunch of alien sexy love stories to cover, but listen to this. I just want to talk about David Lee Roth. So I'm going to call it after listening to this last clip here. And now, Diamond Dave is going to get more serious as he asks his producer, Rob, about the intricacies of alien sex probing. Back on topic.
Talk to me, Tom. You're technical, you're digital. What might an alien sex probing procedure, what's the mechanism of that? What might that, does it require apparatus? Is it a beam? Is it like a sauna? We don't know. We may never know. But what I do know, with absolute accuracy, is that if you take a half of a popsicle and you jam it into a cassette tape player, no matter how carefully you extract it, that tape player will never play the same again, no matter how carefully you try and fix those delicate little parts. And it'll get worse. And it'll seem like the singer that you used to love will stop making sense whatsoever. A lot like Sam.
Roth Show. Okay. So this episode of Roth Show is titled Popsicle Sam, and now we know why. What an amazing analogy made here to explain Sammy Hagar's vitriol towards David Lee Roth's singing ability. He got scrambled like a cassette tape with a popsicle stick.
That's terrible. Nobody should ever have to go through that.
David Lee Roth is insane.
I have never even heard David Lee Roth talk for more than I think 30 seconds at a time in between songs, performing. He should not be allowed to speak at all. This man should not. Honestly, if he's not singing, what's his big song? Jump. If he's not doing that, take the microphone away from this guy.
Panama, one of those.
Whatever.
If he's not jumping, then take the microphone away.
Right. Why he has a show?
We don't know. We may never know.
We may never know.
So let's move on to something a little less DLR heavy as we unlearn about a new character to the Unbeliever verse, one whose career we will watch with great interest, an end times preacher named Sharon Gilbert. Are you guys familiar with Sharon Gilbert in the Epworth United Methodist Church?
Not at all, sir. Not at all.
No, but I can't wait to learn about them now.
Of course not. Well, in 2021, Sharon appeared on the Jim Baker Show to tell this highly sexual and confusing tale of alien love.
After Derek and I got married, one night, this other Derek appears in our bed. The real Derek is lying down next to me. Other Derek sits right up out of him. It startled me. I knew that was not Derek. And so I asked this critter, "Who are you?" Because he clearly wanted to have sexual relations.
Okay, so wait. So there's two Dereks in the bed. And like I mentioned, this is the Jim Bakker show. This is a straight up televangelist show. And so you got two Dereks in the bed. And how does one clearly want to have sexual relations? Is that just like a look in your eyes you get?
I don't know. There's usually more than a look in the eye. I mean... Yeah, so why are you asking me? What are you?
I'm throwing it out there to everyone. Rob, you got a big throbbing thing going on here? Like, well, how was she knowing immediately?
I wasn't there, so I don't know if it was big or throbbing, but I can tell you that sometimes you can cut the tension in the room. You know what I mean? Like you could just, there's a vibe sometimes, especially like if two people are like feeling each other, there's a mutual vibe sometimes. And I think she's feeling an unmutual vibe. That's kind of like
unmutual vibe.
Yeah, he wants it bad and she's not into it. So I think that she's sensing that. But I like that she called him a critter. That's weird. Like
that was very weird.
The clone version of him is critter version of
clone
Derek.
Critter version.
Critter Derek.
And
so just like a goblin hanging out in the corner, just looking all horny and being fucking weird.
Something like
looking
that.
just like Derek.
You're not Derek. You're trying to pretend to be Derek.
This couldn't be my Derek.
This is
He's
horny
a good
Derek.
Christian man. They're both good Christian people. And unbelievers of a certain age may be familiar with Jim and Tammy Faye Bakker. But you might not be aware that he is still out there preaching and collecting money on the internet because he was a disgraced preacher from the 1980s, a televangelist, very, very famous. He got in trouble for soliciting prostitutes. He at one point opened like a Christian theme park with like a water slides and all kind of stuff. He was huge, a huge downfall with Jessica Hahn. If you guys are familiar with Jessica Hahn.
Not familiar with that name at all, no.
But Tammy Faye Bakker was the lady with all the makeup, the really overly done Christian lady with all the makeup. Very much parodied in the 80s and 90s a lot. Johnny Carson had a field day, looks like Tammy Faye Bakker. So that would be.
Oh, okay. No, now the name's starting to sound familiar, but here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to Google it.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's okay. We're going to get back into this.
No, I've already done it. It's too late. I see her now. Yes, I agree. Wow. Okay. Moving on.
So this is his show. Another thing, I might have to keep an eye on his Jim Bakker show, too, because he sells miracle blankets and stuff, too. He's real out there.
Yeah. But is the one who sends the miracle water, too?
He might be.
Or no, is that a different guy? Okay.
He might be. It sounds like it would be up his alley. So we're going to get back to the Sharon lady and her bed that has two Dereks in it. Let's hear more about this very horny other Derek and why this is part of our alien love fest.
And he said, come on, I'm your husband. I said, who are you? And he had the nerve to claim to be Ahasuerus, Xerxes. Well, other Derek seriously wanted to invite me to use my free will to do something that was going to pull me away from God. So this last time, I knew he was really desperate. And I asked him again, who are you? He told me the same answer. And I said, I am not going with you. This was an internal dialogue. Finally, I said, I've had enough. In my mind, I reached up. I grabbed his face. And I said, you are a liar. And Jesus is real. And I pulled that face off, and beneath it was a reptile.
Whoa.
Oh, my God.
It's a reptilian trick. He wants that love bite from this very religious and chaste Sharon Gilbert.
And she got to pull the whole face off thing, like face off.
Or like V. The face pulling, that's just like the TV show V, where they had just human mass over, right?
Or it's like Scooby-Doo is what it reminds me of instantly, is at the end of Scooby-Doo when they pull the mask off. Because it's got to be a really good mask if it looked like Derek. What are we talking about here?
I mean, yeah, there were two Dereks, dude. She couldn't tell. How did she know which one was not the real Derek?
Do we think that this was biotech? Or do we think that this was like some sort of a spiritual
reptilian sorcery
psychic cloak that she like just broke through when she grabbed its face?
I think she's going to stick with that. This is definitely probably demonic to her. Is probably where it's going to lead.
Okay.
But
all right.
So I think it's reptilian magic. Yeah.
It's reptilian magic. And there's a little more to this because this hidden reptile man pulled straight from Scooby-Doo or V has some friends along for these attempted sexcapades.
And he had little creatures with him this time. He brought these little halfling creatures, and they looked like, I don't know, gargoyles. They were very reptilian as well. So beneath that face of Derek was a reptilian serpentine creature, probably similar to what was visiting the Anasazi.
Wow. Well, the Bible says.
Wow.
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 Wow. So
everybody was just so wowed by that.
He brought a bunch of little guys with him also. Just
wouldn't you?
To enjoy the show, I guess. What are they the audience? What's going on?
They probably paid in, you know.
Like, hey, how's it going?
Just getting some money out of it.
We're here for the show. Like what?
I'm thinking like the big thick kids. That's when I was like, what aliens look like gargoyles or even close to it? Like ghoulies or something. But big thick kids is the only alien I could go to that might be anywhere near hanging out with reptilians.
I mean, we speak
I forgot
on
what they were called, but good.
We speak about it like we have a full grasp on all of the species of aliens because we've over the years we've covered so many of them. But maybe there is a planet of gargoyle aliens. That's kind of a fun idea, actually. I like the thought of that. Just
not if I'm thinking about that one cartoon.
Yeah, I love that
you
cartoon.
Know the one.
I love that cartoon.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
It was awesome.
It totally seems up your alley.
It was so cool. They were superheroes, but then they turned into stone when the sun came up. It was like it's very
useless during the day. Fantastic.
Extremely inconvenient that they turn into stone during the day, which is like the majority,
kind of like vampires
of time. Yeah. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I love the idea though of a planet of gargoyles.
It could be, but I'm just getting the occultic vibes you're bringing up. I've been watching way too much turmoil in the toy box stuff on the streets.
You love that.
I definitely know Phil. I'm trying to get through it. I definitely know Phil Phillips would hate those gargoyles toys if he stuck around long enough to go after it. But so in that clip we heard, that was the only info I could find about this case. I scoured the archives of the Jim Bakker show, and sadly, I could not find the full episode. He has so many episodes. I mean, it's just video church basically, but he has guests on because it's basically a church
video
and he's an internet televangelist, and he's known for talking about end time stuff. He's an end times televangelist who's going on all the time. He's always out there. Like I said, one of the things I got to watch out for,
because that's the most successful thing is you got to prey on people's fears. And what's the biggest fear, right? Death, end of the world.
Yeah, and
so of course
the end of time particularly,
and he gets on all kind of guest rod that would be at Contact in the Desert. Like he is adjacent to his paranormal, so some of these people, like the Sharon Gilbert lady, comes on and talks about her experience with two Dereks in the bed, and I guess she didn't actually get it on. this guy was trying though. And the gargoyles are definitely pulling for him. But I am going to keep my eye on this Jim Bakker show.
So she didn't get with Derek 2.0.
No, nothing ever happened. He tried. But
how many people are in this room? Like, it sounds like there was so many things, so much going on. There's two Dereks, whole bunch of little guys. Like
who knows how many people are operating cameras? Too.
Yeah. How do they fit all these aliens in this room? And what's the other Derek? What's real Derek doing? Is he just sleeping the whole time? He slept through this whole thing?
Real Derek's probably dead.
Crazy.
So, yes, great job, Jim Bakker show. We're going to keep an eye. Like I said, he also sells a $1,000 miracle blanket that makes miracles happen. I think he's got a lot of SOS potential. I'm going to keep an eye on him. And the blanket itself is a blue blanket that says miracles happen. It's only $1,000. No big deal.
$1,000 for a blanket?
It's a miracle blanket. He said you could put your wallet in it and wrap it up. You can take your bills, put it in a miracle blanket. You can hang it on the wall if you want. And you can do anything with it.
And you might win $20. Yeah. I might try that.
I think I need one.
I'll try it.
I really think I need one of these, actually.
I feel like I need one.
I could use a new blanket.
It sounds cozy.
He's got that, but he doesn't have any more alien sex people as far as I can see. So we must move on to the Pentagon UFO documents released in 2022. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
It sounds vaguely familiar, though.
It was a lot of UAP info kind of dumped on the public all at once. But one story coming out of that seemed to slip through the cracks. And see, that's where we step in. And here is the headline. You're not going to believe this. UFOs had sexual encounters with humans and even left one woman pregnant.
Pregnant, of course.
Oh, God.
That was for you, Rob. Sorry.
Oh, God. That is shocking.
Wait. Really quick though, you said UFOs had encounters with women. So the UFOs got the lady pregnant. Yeah, the UFO fucked the lady, not an alien.
So this is the Pentagon speaking here. So these wild claims were made in bombshell Pentagon documents obtained by the Sun from the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA, as part of a huge FOIA request, a Freedom of Information. The report, titled Anonymous Acute and Subacute Field Effects on Human and Biological Tissues, investigates injuries to human observers by anomalous advanced aerospace systems, investigates the health impact on humans who have had paranormal experiences. The document features a useful database which listed the biological effects of UFO sightings on humans and their frequency, compiled U.S.-based civilian research agency MUFON. And this bizarre occurrence, such as apparent abduction, unaccounted for pregnancy, sexual encounter, experience of telepathy, and perceived teleportation. So the Pentagon has been tracking a lot of like really hardcore wild stuff that they put out in this. There have been 5 reported sexual encounters between UFOs and humans, says the study. Again, Drea, you called it. It's saying UFOs are having these sexual experiences. Yikes. They won't go on the record and say aliens. They're just saying it's a ship we didn't know of and sex stuff happened.
That sounds like this would kill the lady.
Well, because I think this is really, they're like dancing around the technicalities of what they can and can't say here is part of the issue, because they've already admitted publicly that UFOs exist. They've said that. The cat's out the bag on the UFO thing. They haven't said what it is or anything else about it, but they've said multiple times UFOs are real, but they've never said aliens. So they can't, you know what I mean? They can't actually say aliens. They can say the word intelligence.
But then they're dancing around even saying that.
They don't even, I don't even think with the Grush stuff, which is like where the non-human intelligence line comes from. I don't even think it's all been like, it's like remnants and like pieces, like, you know, it's dead stuff. It's not actually living artifacts. Yeah. It's nothing living or, you know, it's stuff that's dead basically at this point.
So you're looking for something that's more recent, more active, something that's not just like put to bed already.
Well, they just can't say, they can't call it aliens. That's why they're saying
but
that.
Why not? Like, but it's even weirder to call it a fucking UFO that did it though. That's even weirder. Like, how is that more verifiable? How is that more like logical?
I don't know. Maybe is it like a cocoon, you know, like in the movie Cocoon, or like,
oh, that movie was,
where like,
I was going to say terrible, but actually amazing.
They're kind of like the UFOs themselves, aren't they? Because they like glow and float around. So like,
I guess so. They kind of do. Cat couldn't scratch it. I love Cocoon. That's a good movie. So the report prepared for the DIA goes on to say UFO sightings can leave witnesses injured, suffering radiation burns, brain problems, and damaged nerves. It warns that such objects may be, quote, a threat to United States interests. The report said it had 42 cases from medical files and 300 similar unpublished cases where humans had been injured after anomalous encounters. The study argued it was possible to use this medical information to reverse engineer UFOs from unknown provenance that may be a threat to United States interests. Again, unknown provenance. It could be talking about Mars, Alpha Centauri, Russia. It could mean anything when they say that. And another fascinating document, including these files, sets out how to categorize anomalous behavior with encounters with ghosts, yetis, spirits, elves, and other mythical legendary entities classed as AN3. So like a lot of the stuff we talk about is published, they consider something called AN3, and witness interaction with AN3 entities such as near-death experiencers and religious miracles are classified as AN4. I think this means, I guess, anomalous. I don't know. I don't know what the N stands for. I guess I should have looked up what they, because we know what like CT, you know, all those they have the.
I don't know anything. I'm ignorant as fuck.
This is kind of crazy because they're saying all this other crazy shit. Elves.
Yetis,
Yetis particularly,
ghosts.
That feels, they should have just said Bigfoots or Big Feet.
Yetis in particular are mentioned in Pentagon documents, and that's AN3 or AN4 if you come across a Yeti or a Sprite or something like that. And it also goes on to say poltergeist, crop circles, spontaneous human combustion, alien abduction, and other paranormal events are also categorized.
Spontaneous human combustion falls under the same category as elves and fairies.
So does this mean that there's someone actively investigating these things for the government? Like that there's someone whose job is every day to like wake up and they're like, all right, today I'm investigating elves. And they just go out.
Yeah, it's Skulder and Mully.
I was thinking that. I was thinking this feels very X-Files. it's just kind of, I want that job is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Oh, of course, dude. The only reason that I can't get on the FBI is because I refuse to run, and they want you to like pass a physical fitness test. There's a lot of running
involved. Yeah.
I will not do that.
To get in the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, yes, that's a tough gig to land. But the DIA, the Department of Defense's spy arm, said, quote, some portions of the documents must be withheld in part due to privacy and confidential concerns, that the DIA has not withheld any reasonable, researchable, non-exempt portions of the records. But as far as I can tell, they aren't naming names of these pregnant alien lovers, which is a shame. No, but we do know there are 5 documented secret alien pregnant people with that maybe have had an alien baby out there.
Finally, it answers the question we've been asking for years.
Whoa, whose babies are these?
How am I going to send all these babies to college?
Yeah, I mean,
we want those names. We want the names. We got to find out.
He was in the ship. You know, he's seen it. There's a bunch of babies up there. This is where
David
they're coming
Huggins
from.
is one of the people in here like, I got him pregnant. Yeah, they said that, but this is about humans themselves getting pregnant.
Reaching over and I'm touching the baby.
Yeah.
Don't touch the babies, please.
Please,
David.
They're his babies. He can touch them if he wants. They're his babies.
And what I wound up doing is that I wound up touching all the babies.
Good for you. This Father's Day is coming up. We appreciate this.
Won't stop talking about it.
And I'm glad you bring them up because, fortunately, we don't need these ladies' names because we already have a good list of names of these alien lovers. Of course, David Huggins. Remember Bridget Nielsen, who you may remember from episode 69. She has these many alien hybrid babies out there, but she still managed to maintain a spectacular body. She's like a yoga lady, yes. Also,
a Yoda lady, yeah.
The ones we talked about, Stephanie Faye Cohen, we know about Count Smocula. The list goes on. But wait, we have a new name to add to this collection of intergalactic intercoursers. And this one, I hate to bring it down, this one's a little more serious. It's not my intention to bum people out, but stick with me. I promise there is a payoff. This is a really new story, too. I have a feeling that not a lot of people know this yet. We're going to meet a man named Julius Shields, hailing from Kansas City, and his tale of titillating terror. So let's hear the introduction of this and get to know this experience of a man named Julius Shields.
Hello, everybody. My name is Julius Jacob Shields. I was born in Lawrence, Kansas. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. This is 11 years. I can't even say it. This is 11 years after the extraterrestrials made contact with me. This is my story.
All right, so this was the first day when they made the initial contact. I woken up that morning, gone to my window, opened it up, stretched my arms out, and just said, "Man, what a great day." That's something I've never done before. And then I closed the window, kind of turned the blinds a little bit, and then I sat down, got on the phone with my girlfriend, and a few minutes later I see this, like, it was almost like a balloon. Like it was just shaped like, it was almost like a balloon that had, a little bit thicker of a string, and it's just going just back and forth, at a nice steady pace, just back and forth across the wall. And I don't even know. I'm thinking maybe it's like a shadow. Maybe there's a bird flying around, something out there. But then my dog Hunter is now barking in that direction, in the direction where I'm sitting, barking for, 5-10 minutes. And I'm just trying to just listen to my girlfriend and just enjoy a conversation. And I look back over, and on my door where there was the most light, I saw it. It was about maybe about that big. It just had a body like this, eyes turned to the side, and it had 3 tentacles.
What?
Whoa. Man, this guy went to the David Lee Roth School of Mouth Noises. I think there is such thing. As too good of a mic, and this guy got one in the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's also such a thing as settings.
Well,
and you can, tweak that.
it's a I believe what it is. They're either using a compressor or they're just using a really good condenser microphone. They pick up everything. So you're hearing everything.
Picking up the shit you don't want to pick up.
Oh yeah. And they're also very
close.
Please
do less.
Very close to the microphone. And they need some water. Water helps. But he said that he saw a light and a body. Drea and I both had the same exact idea when he said shaped like this, which you can't see it right
this
now.
Is from a video,
but we're doing.
I know y'all can't see, but it looked like that,
like an hourglass, is what we're trying to say. This guy, body. He's got an alien in the window. Who does that sound like?
I have no idea where.
It sounds like our old buddy, and this alien's a little different though. This alien's got 3 tentacles. I'll give you a little description of this guy.
That's
doing
it.
This.
Coming from where?
3 tentacles? Like, come on, really? You can't do more than that?
Like, are those his legs? Is he walking on them? Or is he just like...
He's like that? Those are just the 3 that are available for sale, for purchase at this moment. Like, you got to cough up extra.
I think these are arm tentacles. I think they're doing other stuff.
David Lee Roth would be like, I got 3 tentacles, if you know what I mean.
Sex probed.
So I'll give a description of this guy. He is just a big guy with a big beard, wearing overalls and a flannel. He's just a very... real normal looking Midwestern guy, Brendan Prey.
That's an oxymoron, but yeah,
Brendan
go on.
Shea probably sees this kind of guy every day. He's a very normal, long bearded dude. And you can probably tell so far that this guy is dead serious about this. He sounds a little scared, a little quiver in his voice talking about it. I mean, the thing had tentacles. And we are talking about him in our Alien
3.
Love. We're talking about him in an Alien Love Fest episode. So this can end well. So let's hear more. Back to the tentacles.
And it raised them up and it started tapping on my window. And that was the first time I'd ever seen something that wasn't human, something I'd never seen before and something I couldn't explain. And when I saw that, I just froze. It gets kind of blurry what happened, but I just know that I left my house and I went to my buddy Nathan's and I told him exactly what had just happened and what I had just saw. So the next night, I'm sitting in my room on my bed, it's raining. And all over my window, that's about, 3-4 feet long, I just hear taps from, on every inch of that window, there was just taps going on, which is impossible to be rain because there's a deck over my window, so there's just no way in hell that that's rain. And I immediately took off and I went back to my buddy Nathan's house. I told him what was going on, man, and we went to bed.
So, yeah, we all need a buddy Nathan, a guy we can just run to when scared and jump in bed with him. Where's his girlfriend? He was talking to a girlfriend in the begining, and I was like, Nathan, we're going to bed, Nathan.
How did he leave and go to Nathan's house when he's got the tentacle tapper at his door? What does he mean? It was there, and then it was just gone, and he left the house. I feel like there's a whole section of information that he left out.
He's got a secret portal to Nathan, like in his closet. He could just go into and be like, take me to Nathan.
And what is
Press
this
the button
fucking...
and you're there.
What is this alien doing? Tipper tapping on his window with its tentacles,
It's
dude.
raining. The tentacle monster is all getting wet. He just wants to dry off, okay?
All
He's just trying, okay? He's trying his best.
If you're cold, they're cold. Let them inside. That's really sad, honestly, to think about this poor tentacle
Come on, Nathan. Let him
creature.
in.
Just let him in. Let him sleep in the mudroom.
And nobody was there. He didn't even need to say it was raining. Like all the tapping on the window. And he's like, and it was really pouring rain. It's like, he's like, and rain can't do that because of the deck. What about wind? I don't know. Can wind
blow I don't know.
rain
That was weird.
in any kind of direction?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm still just stuck on the tentacles. I can't get over these tentacles. I wish that every alien story had tentacles. This is a great addition. What kind of alien is this?
Yeah, I wish he would stick around long enough to find out. Maybe he does. So as you hear, this tale is a bit of a slow burn. I know. Stay with me. We have heard about the first 2 nights of terror. Well, what happens the next night? More Nathan? Well, let's find out.
On the third night, I'm sitting there in my bed and I look over across the room and then there's just this orb of light, probably about softball size, just an orb of light. I look over at it, see it, and it just floats off into my ceiling and is gone. Once again, I fled. I did not know what else to do in what I was experiencing. All I knew was to just flee and to just go find somewhere else that was safe. So what I believe happened is they initially were like, hey, buddy, you know, we're not from here. We kind of want to do some tests. We don't know what you are. You don't know what we are. Like, let's figure out what we are. And because I fled, they had no other option but to just take me and do their tests. Because it got so bad that I left the basement. After that third night, I said, I'm not sleeping in the basement anymore. And I moved upstairs to the upstairs room that's on the outer edge of the house. And I would move up there. And that was when the abduction started.
Well, stay in the basement then. Why is he sleeping in the basement anyway?
Okay, Russ, what I'm hearing you say right now is like, well, you shouldn't have tried to fight it. Because once you started to fight it, then they had to take you by force. If you would have just gone along, you know, with it, it wouldn't have been this bad. It's your fault. You're victim blaming.
They were taking this guy no matter what. He never had a choice.
It was going to happen.
It was going to happen either way. And you know, it's funny.
Oh, this is terrible.
As I'm listening to this, it's reminding me of a conversation I had with Travis Walton. It's crazy that I could say that.
Well, yeah, you actually had a conversation with Travis Walton.
We're going to talk about that.
It's amazing.
Which I'll elaborate more on later. But one thing that he wanted me to know when I spoke to him was that over time he's grown to believe that they're not monsters. And that we just perceive them as that. They're not monsters, though. They're here to help. So I think, like, I'm trying to remind myself that throughout this story, even though it does sound nefarious, this man sounds like he was being hunted by these aliens.
Well, I like the folksy way, though, that he's like, I like how the tentacle alien is breaking the ice with him. It's like, look, hey, buddy, I'm not sure what you are. You're not sure what I am. I'm not sure I know what I am at this point. Maybe we could, I don't know, you know.
Yeah, listen, one of us is on assignment here. We're both scared. We're both curious. Let's just try to make this easier on both of us.
Right.
Like, it's still fucked up, though.
Right.
And these must be new aliens, because we know that abduction's been going on for decades and decades.
They're not
this was
new
just
aliens.
10 years ago.
They've just learned how to work the script by this point.
Now, this isn't just some sort of sexual fantasy this man has, because I as this story is unfolding, I'm realizing that there is a huge contingency of tentacle porn out there that's apparently very popular from what I've seen on certain websites. And I feel like this guy, he just may have a fascination in that. And that could have something to do with this story. But I mean, who am I to say what's true, what's not true? It's just like, I would like to just state that fact that this is a subgenre of internet,
of ufology now, because
UFO
now
porn.
These are like low tech tentacle monsters that they have to tap on windows and like, hey buddy, we kind of like want to know what you are. He does say it would do one little sound effect I like. Here he goes,
and it just floats off into my ceiling and is gone.
I always appreciate that. So
Toodaloo.
I know exactly
a really
what
nice toodaloo. It's nice and polite.
I know exactly what he's talking about, though, from the way that he said.
Oh, you know the toodaloo?
I can see it.
Just floats off.
Yeah, just
into my ceiling and is gone.
Floats right off into the ceiling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leading upstairs. Get out of this basement. You nerd. Get out of your basement with your tentacles. We're coming upstairs.
Toodaloo.
So we've now moved into abduction territory. But wait, it gets a lot weirder right about now.
I don't know exactly when it started. I just know that I would go into these dreams. It started out more violent. Like I would be at war, in a battle. And one specific dream I remember is I woke up and I was in this arena, like gladiator style, and I'm looking around and I just see all these creatures and goblins and ghouls just all in the stands, and I don't know what's going on. And then like this like teal like blob monster just falls down in front of me, boom, and a weapon spawned in my hand, and just instantly I just went boom and just stabbed him, and it was like I had just won. I mean, the crowd went nuts. I felt like accomplished, like I had just won something. And then I'd wake up in my bed and I'd hear this sound outside my room every single time. I don't know if I can mimic it, but almost, it just sounded like a saucer. It was just like this.
Ugh. All right, I take back my mouth noise complaints. That's the best sound effect I've heard by someone we were covering. Bravo, Julius, for
like a helicopter.
That was pretty good.
I can see you guys lighting up during that. This reminded me of the guy in the MK Ultra stories who had to fight in front of the reptiles and the elites.
Pokey,
Herbert, Pokey, Alex Collier, I believe. And and this has to be level 1 because a blob, that is an easy opponent, though. That's like the first thing you fight in Dragon Quest, I think.
I don't know, man.
Like a blue slime.
Why would you think a blob is an easier target to like that? It's not a human body. It doesn't bleed. We don't know what the fuck that's even made out of. To me, that's scarier.
I feel like they dropped the easiest thing to kill in front of him. It was just a blob. They threw a blob at him and he stabbed it and it died.
So that's level 1.
It doesn't even have any way to defend itself. It's a fucking blob. Like, that's not a threat.
A blob could be invincible. What about the jellyfish? What about the immortal jellyfish?
Okay, but it's just a jellyfish. It's got no power out of the water. It's just going to sit there
exponentially. We don't know.
What? We've had gargoyles and he's literally like ghouls and goblins and bats. And he's just naming random shit in the crowd.
Yeah, so he's seen all of that. And then he gets put up against a blob at that point. It's not like the blob was brought out first. You know, like he got to see a parade of all these fucking weird fucking alien monsters, and then the blob gets brought out. So no, I think that's actually something more to be afraid of.
I think the blob was probably just as scared as he was, and he just murdered an innocent blob.
Well, let's ask Russ how the blob treated his hometown. Huh?
right.
When it rampaged through his fucking hometown in Louisiana.
We kicked its ass. That's what happened to it anyway.
Okay,
that
fair
blob
enough.
got frozen.
But you'll
and
have the firepower though. You were ready for it because it was the second coming of the blob.
We weren't summoning forth our sword and getting a flawless victory like him, but they pulled it off initially.
Right. True, it didn't happen in your dreams, correct.
That's true. And if this was Alien Fight Fest, that last clip is perfect. But it is not. So let's get back to the topic at hand.
Right. My bad. There was
right
romance involved.
Now,
I'm
it's
sorry.
not Fight Fest. It's Love Fest. It's more love.
And it'd be gone every time after these dreams. And then there was a full week straight, because then it got more sexual, because there was a full week straight where I was having wet dreams every night. I was having sex with different creatures and that were women and just different stuff.
Hell yeah.
And I would wake up and I would look at my pants and
you fucked a blob.
Sometimes there'd be nothing, and sometimes it would just be wet. There would be no actual sperm in there. And I didn't know what to think, but I just knew that there was just something going on, because why am I hearing this stuff? Why am I having these dreams? You know, I was scared for myself. I didn't know what was going to happen, but, you know, as the years progressed, I realized, you know, for evolution, you know, this is amazing. You know, these creatures came down, analyzed me, figured out what I was, what I could do, you know, the different kind of things I liked and liked to do, you know, and then harvested my sperm and did whatever with life, and just went through evolution.
Yeah, it's all about evolution, guys. He's getting down with all kind of aliens, women aliens. Okay, he makes that clear. These blobs he made were even women.
No, he did not make that clear, Russ.
No,
that was not clear at all that there were women aliens.
He said
we don't know what the fuck he was talking about.
He said he was fucking everything. He said that
he just said everything, and he just said his pants were wet. He said, I don't even know what was happening. They were just wet.
He was wet, and
so
there
we
wasn't
don't know.
even.
He could have just pissed himself. He could have been fucking scared. We don't know.
What does he mean? There was no sperm. I'm so confused. He was so wet, but there was no sperm.
It was piss. It was just piss.
No. Sometimes it was nothing. Sometimes it was water. All right,
sometimes it was just a lot of shit. Who knows?
But there was never sperm. He's like, what happened to all that sperm?
Where is all my sperm?
Splurging out a little while ago. The aliens are taking it as part of evolution,
or he never came.
He's having wet dreams every night. Okay, every
and guys,
night.
These dreams are just wet, but they're not sexual.
No sperms though.
There's no sperm. They're just wet.
Well, these blobs and tentacle guys, they're hoarding his sperm, but he's having them. And I had to clip this because I've never heard a mouth noise line up so perfectly with what the person is talking about. This is incredible.
There was a full week straight where I was having wet dreams every night. It's very subtle. He's like, all
Oh, I love that one so much.
Yeah, that was so subtle. We definitely needed that.
His mouth is having wet dreams as well, sounds like.
There's a little mouth memory from those hot dreams he was having, those wet pants. And if you thought that last clip was too hot and sexy, well, keep your hands right where they are, because it turns out, put them down. These sexy pants, wedding dreams, this runs in Julius's family.
Now, years later, I would go on to meet my uncle, thanks to my wife. I got reconnected with my Uncle Tylen.
What the fuck?
And, we would talk, tell him about this stuff, about what happened to me all those years, because we would talk about how we grew up, and what we experienced and different things. And I told him about this, and he froze. He almost didn't even know what to say. And then he revealed to me that he was having the same experiences around the same time I was. He said he would be in these sedated like dream state. But he said for him, he was having sex with like whatever he wanted. Like in his mind, and he envisioned, which was like anime girls. That's what he told me, that he was having sex with those, and he would wake up and there would be nothing in his shorts, and he would know that he ejaculated, and he'd wake up and there would be nothing.
Hold on a second. I know I ejaculated. Where is it? Where the fuck is it?
Or get this, maybe you didn't.
And he thinks the tentacle thing isn't an anime. He's like, well, I'm aliens. He's getting his anime stuff.
What the fuck?
Are these anime aliens, or is this family just prone to wet dreams,
It's, you know what it is, man? It's interesting. I'm going to go back to another thing I learned. I learned a lot at Contact in the Desert. This is crazy.
I bet you did, dude. I bet you did.
An interesting theory here. What if there are not many different species of aliens? They just they're able to physically make themselves appear different to everybody, particular to what people want to see. Maybe even reptilians are
for sure
part of that.
I think that maybe all anime girls are reptilians.
Well, maybe that's just it's a breed of alien that we don't know about. Anime
and this
girls
speaks well for that Sharon lady, because she saw her own husband. So maybe she is that committed.
Derek
that
was never
if
really
an alien
Derek.
is coming to her, the only thing she desires is her husband. So there's two Dereks, but he desires, I don't know, to stab blobs and tentacles coming at him and all form of alien. And then it's like, uncle. First off, I don't know. I can't imagine talking to my uncle about this. Hey,
I forgot
uncle,
about the uncle. Okay.
So do you wet your pants too when you dream about these monsters you're stabbing with your cock?
It's like, you know what?
God damn.
I do. And I can never find the cum.
Yeah, mine are big boobed anime chicks though. It's like, what?
You don't
How old
always
is his
piss your
uncle? He's in
pants
anime.
because you're horny.
Sorry.
Sometimes you just piss your pants because you're scared.
It's true. This is true.
It's facts. It's just facts.
I don't know. I don't know. I would never share these feelings with Uncle Herman. That would just be too much for me to handle. But tentacles and anime aside, Julius does have a good idea of what specific aliens are committing these acts, and he will tell us, but we will also hear for the first time, there is a person interviewing him. He just lets a guy talk the whole time, but he does pop in with a very important question during this.
Now, I've done my research on this stuff, and I know that what came to me, they're called the Greys. They're not a very big creature. They drive saucers, and they have a mothership, and it's almost astonishing. But it just makes you realize and just know that there's just more to life than just what we have here on Earth. And that's why I would use the rest of my life to travel and experience as much as I can before it's all over, because, well, there's definitely, I'm not going to go into what's beyond death, but.
And drugs weren't a part of your life at that time?
Well, at that time, marijuana was playing big. It was just, it was the party thing, Me and the boys, that's how I grew up, was smoking weed. And I know when people would say, well, because I was told that, it was just the weed, blah, blah, blah. Well, I haven't stopped smoking weed since, and ain't nothing like that ever happened.
Oh, really?
Again.
I like how like 10 minutes into this for the guy to ask, and he deflects it so quickly.
Like, hey,
He's like,
drugs? Oh, well, yeah, of course, drugs. Yeah.
Well, it's just me and the boys. This is my culture. This is a party thing.
We just party, dude.
Look, it hasn't happened since. Back off.
Yeah, I mean, weed was big.
No, he
I
said
like
it
how he
hasn't
said that.
stopped since.
I can relate to this guy in a lot of ways.
Well, okay, the weed hasn't stopped. The alien things has. This all happened like 10 or 11 years ago to him. So this hasn't happened again, and he's like, I'll never stop partying.
Weed's got nothing to do with it, all right? Weed has got nothing to do with it.
If that were the case, every single stoner would have been fucked by an alien by now, and that's why people would keep doing it, but that's not.
I wasn't high. That was my next question. Wasn't high at all. Were you tripping? No, I was not tripping.
No, I was not
He
tripping.
definitely wasn't tripping. So it's not drugs, obviously. But what if he might just be a crazy person?
And then they wanted to try and say, well, you know, there's a possibility that, you know, you're schizophrenic. Okay, well, schizophrenia don't just come and go. It don't just come for 6 months, and then I would have all these crazy experiences, and I would hear these sounds, and I would actually see the thing on the wall. And then, you know, schizophrenia just goes away. No, that's not how that works. So, yeah, I've ruled out everything.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, nice try, Dr. Freud. He ruled out everything. Drugs,
I've ruled out, trust me, I'm an expert. I've ruled out everything. I'm definitely not crazy.
I had to call him out. A quick internet search for, if you just do this yourself, does schizophrenia come and go? It came up instantly with, yes, schizophrenia symptoms can come and go, either continuously or intermittently through a person's life. These episodes can last from days to months, and the length is determined by the episode's cause in nature. Some people may only experience 1 or 2 episodes, while others may have multiple. But he's like, no, that's not how schizophrenia works. It kind of is, actually.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, you know, when you're the person dealing with the schizophrenia. I think it's hard to identify it sometimes. It could be something like that going on. Or, you know, maybe doesn't have anything to do with, maybe he's not schizophrenic. I don't know. It's hard to tell just by listening to the guy. He sounds relatively put together, even though he is talking about complete batshit crazy stuff. He doesn't sound like David Lee Roth. Sounds way more crazy and unhinged.
When you're abducted by aliens, you get sex probed.
That's that combination of the sex, drugs, rock and roll. But this guy's only had the drugs and rock and roll, and not the sex, apparently, or maybe the other way around. What
it's like
the sex and the drugs, and not the rock and roll. So I mean, you don't get it right. He's gonna sound like he's maybe got his shit together, but he doesn't.
He just doesn't have the rock and roll. That's the only thing. He's getting the sex. He's getting the drugs.
I'm just saying he sounds sane. He sounds like
he does. He looks
sane
normal
guy.
too.
Well, that's how they fool you, Rob.
I saw people popping in the comments on this video were like, I know this guy personally. I work in this place with him, and he's stuck with the story for years. And he's a pretty normal dude. He's just one of the boys. We smoke. We do all that. So he's sticking with this theory. He's sticking with this theory that the aliens were reaching out to contact. They were tapping on windows and they were sending light orbs. And he was too scared to receive the contact. So they waited until he was asleep, sedated him, put him in this dreamlike state, and placed him back in bed, albeit a little soggy, just the way they found him. But he also mentions something we talked about, and the fact that Kansas City lies on what many call the UFO highway or the 37th parallel. And,
all right, true.
And that makes it more likely it is in fact aliens, according to him. And I'm getting on board with this story now. It's starting to track. But then he has asked this question, and I'm just confused all over again.
So do you ever think about, you know, what might have happened if you had decided to go with them? Because that seems to be what they wanted, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they wanted to do some kind of tests and just, you know, figure out what a human being was. And at the time, if I had been brave enough to just stand up and just open my window and go, what is going on out here? And for just have them to say, you know, hey, we want you to come with us and, you know, we have tests and stuff we want to do, I would have gone. Just knowing how I was at the time, just, you know, so interested in everything and wanting to explore and experience that I would have gone 100%. Whether or not they would have brought me back or not, I don't know, but I would have gone for sure.
Okay, so he was scared and he didn't want to, but also at the same time, he's very brave and curious and wants to explore. So he totally would have. Which is it, Julius? I have no idea what your actual intention is.
I mean, that's fair, though. I mean, would you know 100% which way you would go?
Yeah, afterwards you can big talk it like, oh, I would have just. It's like they were trying. They were tapping on your window.
Right now?
Like, come
if
on,
it happened
like,
right now. No, seriously, I'm gonna ask both of you right now. If that were to happen to you, some fucking aliens tapping on your window, and whether or not they're gonna say they're gonna fuck you or not, would you go? Would you just see like what's up?
Or am I running to my buddy's house and jumping in his bed? If those are the two choices, I'm staying with the aliens. I'm sticking with them.
I'll be scared.
You're gonna go with the aliens.
Yes.
I'd be scared and curious, you know, just like him. I think I would feel similar. I'd be like,
that's normal.
Do I want to go with these aliens? I don't know, but I'm interested. And I'm curious.
And he's stoned out of his mind, too. So what does he know?
That's true.
I'm not saying this didn't happen. He admits he's stoned out of his mind.
If I was stoned
easily
enough,
persuaded at that point, maybe.
Right. If I was like, if I had an edible in me, a couple dabs, and then a couple tentacles start knocking on my window.
You're paranoid.
Yeah, but I would also be curious.
No, he said a couple tentacles. So one tentacle, maybe not. 3, maybe that's too much. But 2, all right, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's that third one going? That would be my question.
Hey, now.
That one's feeding the cat. Don't worry about that.
So they say. So he does credit these aliens with one thing, with making him more adventurous and willing to travel, which is one positive takeaway he has. But he has one more thought about all of this that he's going to share about this alien connection to the evolution of the space people.
Yeah, I just think it's incredible for what can happen with evolution. I know it's been about 10, 11 years, so I give it maybe another 10 years or so. And then I'm curious to see what happened, because if it is real and I do have, extraterrestrial children and they use my, sperm to harvest and recreate life and do whatever, I would really hope that those individuals wouldn't be brainwashed enough to be able to come back and try to figure out, where it all started. And maybe they would come back to me and try to and maybe take me with them, or maybe out of their own curiosity just wanted to know what Earth was like and where their life had started.
And borrow some money.
Yeah. Yeah. Some space money.
They need that college tuition, just like David Huggins was worried about.
That wouldn't be space money. That's Earth money. Like, what?
Yeah, he's got it all. He's all confused about that. But that's his mindset
fair.
of it. I think he feels like he's seeding an entire universe or a planet or something. That it's his seed that is going to start this whole race of people.
He might be,
and they might even not even let him come back and meet their real dad. He's like a timeline. It's like, all right, those kids are probably about 10 years old now. They can't fly their own spaceship quite yet. Probably 10 years after they get out of space college, they'll come out. They'll want to come know who dad is, know how this whole thing started, and they'll probably need some money. So I'm working a lot now.
He does have an underlying fear of being taken by these things and never being brought back. He keeps saying that over and over again. They're like, they may take me and maybe they'll never bring me back. Like, I don't think so. They're not going to. The only person that I think they've ever done that to is Jim Sullivan. And that was because he could play a good song, a nice ditty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jim Sullivan wanted to go, though.
Well,
I fully believe that he wanted to leave.
Well, yeah, he
like,
wrote multiple albums begging for it to happen.
Yeah. That's why he wandered out into the desert. He wanted to go. So this would be different. I mean, not to say that they weren't going to take people if they didn't want to. I'm sure it happens all the time.
But they usually bring you back. Even if it's a couple days later.
When they don't like you. This one worked out too good. This one didn't have any fun problems to look into. Let's just throw it back.
How much juice do they need from this guy, though? They're going to take him with. I guess he's going to have to touch all the babies and stuff like you were playing. I love the foreshadowing of the David Huggins, and you guys didn't even know the story. You're lining it up perfectly. Love it. That's great. So, yeah, there you have it. That's a new guy on the scene. That's Julius Shields. I have no idea if he's any relation.
Shields.
Any relation to Michael Shields. Let us know, Michael, if you got a cousin Julius out there. Maybe he's your nephew and you're I don't want to know your anime thing. I don't want to, put that out there. That's you.
The fewer questions, the better, I think. Yeah.
We don't know. We may never know.
And I have one more thing before we go. Something a bit more fun than Julius wetting his pants as he populates the cosmos, and that is a list. A list. We love these stories of real alien sex encounters, but we also love fictional depictions of these acts as well. And I have here in my hand, David Letterman style, the top 10 human alien sex scenes from film and TV.
Ooh,
all right.
Okay.
All right.
So we'll probably know most. We'll probably know most of these, and we may or may not agree with all these. Let's find out. This is from an IndieWire article. Coming in at number 10, sexiest human alien sex scene, District 9. Here we go. The aliens in District 9 are not sexy, though, not to us anyway. They look like and are derogatorily called prawns, so there are no apparent romances between these creatures and humans, but there is a reference to Nigerian prostitutes selling sex to the prawns, and there's also sort of a depiction of a man and a prawn going at it, quote, doggy style. I don't remember that from District 9.
Doggy style with a prawn. They didn't want to change it to prawny
style.
I don't know. It all sounds bad.
Yeah, I don't remember that part of the movie. Maybe I blocked it out. Or maybe it probably is one of those things. There's a lot of like quick cut scene stuff going on because that's like a found footage. A lot of it's sort of found footage-y, I think, if I remember District 9. It's been a while.
Yeah.
That shit must have been some found footage.
Yeah, time for a rewatch, right? I want to see who's going prawny style on this.
No, I'm not so sure that I want to rewatch it at this point.
I don't think there's much to see. I think it's very brief. very brief.
Probably. I bet it's very brief and very small. Yes.
Yeah, that's why it's number 10 on this. So coming in number 9, we have Steve Guttenberg gets a burst of sex in Cocoon, 1985. Cocoon making another appearance here.
Right.
And here we go. Any man would love to get physical with an alien that looks like Tani Welsh, but unfortunately, her character species doesn't have sex the way humans do. Still, Steve Guttenberg looks pretty satisfied with the way she does it to him, apparently tossing a burst of light and energy or something at his chest. The only problem is it's clearly one-sided. Then again, we never do find out if what we've seen is just foreplay or not. I think I remember the scene where one of the weird Pillsbury glowing aliens throws a light at him, and I guess that's their form of sex. They throw light at you.
And I'm definitely going to have to rewatch that one because that's a blank slate for me right now.
I think I've only watched that movie as a child, which is should be illegal. You should not be allowed to watch that movie as a child.
Like we should have called protective services on your parents at that point.
They just let me rent anything.
Your babysitter.
They let me take out anything from the library when I was a kid. It was just a free for all with those little stupid index cards. Way too much power. You just pull the card out of the thing, bring it to the desk, and they just give you whatever movie. So I was
libraries are way too powerful. You're right.
I was watching Cocoon. I was watching Cocoon 2.
He's like, I want to go to the YMCA, go swim with these old folks, see what they got going on.
Right? It was weird geriatric porn. Most of Cocoon.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right.
If you don't remember. Yeah, that's what it is.
I referenced it earlier. Cat couldn't scratch it. Wilford Brimley says
those old people start fucking like crazy because of the aliens. That's like 90% of the movie.
I mean, you got to learn from the elders, right? They know stuff.
So number 9, Cocoon. Coming in at number 8, Kim Basinger learns about sex in My Stepmother is an Alien. So that's a good one. And here we go. If your mission calls for you to travel to Earth and marry a human, naturally you're going to be expected to consummate the marriage. Unfortunately for Kim Basinger's sexually ignorant alien, her purse-dwelling, phallic-looking companion can project instructional films and dispense Debbie Does Dallas videotapes. In no time, Basinger is an expert on the subject, or at least in the ways of turning on hubby Dan Aykroyd, and probably way too many young boys in the audience of this seemingly family-friendly PG-13 movie. The scene cuts just before the actual sex begins with Dan Aykroyd, but it may as well have kept going. It couldn't have gotten any more explicit than this, and we're pretty sure Aykroyd has already come by the end of this clip. Anyway.
He's come by the end of Ghostbusters 1, right? Not even the second one.
Is that yeah,
it's not that difficult with him. Yeah,
It's the first one. It's the first one.
All that ectoplasm, boy.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Oh,
he's easy.
Man, there's so many movies with alien fucking going on. I didn't realize.
Oh, I mean, my bad though. I mean, Ghostbusters was ghosts.
It's ghost
aliens,
fucking, yeah.
Right, but were those pants wet? Was there anything in there? Were they dry?
Where is the cum
at all?
There was so much ectoplasm. We know this.
Yeah, we know. This is Dan Aykroyd we're talking here. So, all right, that's number 8. Coming in number 7. Geek loses virginity to evil alien in the movie Evil Aliens, 2005. Now, I don't like this movie, but I did watch the clip. I did see the clip of this. And then it says, we like this sex scene because it makes us think of all those fanboys at Comic-Con who likely have sex with an alien. Even one as disgusting and evil as the one here. They probably even do the Queen from Alien and the Predator and the thing from Mac and Me. Because
no.
This is the article saying this. I'm just quoting this. Because not only would they finally get to lose their virginity, they'd also become the envy of all their fanboy friends. Then they'd wear a crown and act all superior like Ken Jeong and role models. All right, whoever wrote this article is really going off on geeks. All right, so a geek wanted to get with an alien, but that comes in at number 7. Which it gets better here in number 6, where Natasha Henstridge finally loses her virginity in Species. Remember the movie Species in 1995?
Right. Yeah. Species was big on the, it got a lot of rentals on the cover, I believe, because it had like a hot reptilian lady on the cover.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you're walking through
she was all hybrid mode going on.
Right. So it was like very catching to the eye when you're strolling down the aisle at Blockbuster. You're like, ooh, Species.
I like aliens. I like boobs.
Yeah.
Species might be for me.
Might have to check this one out.
I did not watch that movie because it turns out I'm straight, but I understand the appeal.
Well, the little write-up here says, some fans of the continued Species franchise might prefer the first sequel's sex scene involving tentacles coming out of Natasha Henstridge's nipples. But for all of us, it's about the first film's ultimate copulation in which the alien-human hybrid made from transmitted DNA instructions succeeds in fooling future Dr. Octopus Alfred Molina into impregnating her. It's a pretty straight sex scene, save for the protruding back fins and the post-coital murder. See, throughout the film, we actually want the seemingly evil alien to succeed, probably because we've empathized with her ever since she was a young, confused experiment played by Michelle Williams in her first ever film role. Hey, it's not her fault her nature is so lethal, you know. Besides, if Molina's character has trouble recognizing her just because she's changed her hairstyle and color, and he's so eager to bet a stranger when he should be more wary, he probably deserves to die / father and extraterrestrial offspring. Okay, so
Alfred Molina loaded.
Alfred Molina getting it in more ways than one in Species makes this top list.
I gotta rewatch that one too. You're just giving me a list of movies that I need to watch right now.
Yeah, you're getting basically you're turning Rob on like crazy right now. And it's just like he's like I can't wait to end this fucking
Rob
episode.
around. Like we can. Rob's gonna be like, I'm like, what, Rob? We still got. We
this is not going to keep Rob around. This is getting him to leave so he can go watch these movies.
Oh, we'll find ways to watch all these together.
I gotta
so
use
coming in number 5. Coming in number 5. Another one to catch up on. Gina Davis gives in to shave Jeff Goldblum in Earth Girls Are Easy, 1989.
I mean,
so
I think everybody wants to shave Jeff Goldblum. Doesn't matter.
Jim Carrey.
I really don't care for the act of shaving somebody. That sounds dumb and annoying.
I mean, Jeff Goldblum, though,
nerve-wracking.
He would make it fun.
No, word? Because I just I don't know. I'm worried about cutting somebody.
Yeah, well,
or maybe I want to.
So when the aliens from this movie first arrive on Earth, they aren't all that sexually appealing, but once they shave their fluorescent furry exteriors, they're miraculously as human-looking as can be. Enough that Gina Davis is easily attracted to the formerly blue Jeff Goldblum. The two had previously had a sort of interspecies affair in The Fly, if you remember. They were both in The Fly together.
Right.
But she's hesitant until she sees that a man from outer space is anatomically compatible with the girl from the Valley. Well, the actual sex scene is really cheesy and resembles late 80s softcore porn with its colorful cinematography and glitter. Davis is great in her doubtful sequence just prior to doing the deed, and her artsy post-sex nightmare in which she initially regrets what she's done is plenty fun, too. There we go. Earth Girls Are Easy.
You're reading this person's breakdown is like, I don't even know. It's like it's being translated from a different language. It's so unnatural and bizarre.
I agree. And I feel like this person didn't really watch
the
same movie that we watched.
You don't have to read everything that they wrote. You know,
I did. And I actually cut these down a little bit too.
Oh wow! So this is the choice.
This is a broken down version.
Don't worry. When you get to number 1, it's going to be very short. But coming in at number 4, you have Steve Vincent thinks Earth Girls Are Ugly in a movie Space Thing from 1968. And this is a movie I wasn't aware of. I was able to find a clip of this that I watched. It says this single outer space sex scene is given the exception because it's so amazing. And we've never seen the sexploitation flick it comes from. We only saw the clip where you can also see, and they give you a link to the clip. Also, it has a neat inverse situation to the scene from Earth Girls Are Easy in that an alien in the form of a man is doubtful and hesitant to go to bed with one of the female crew members of the SS Supreme Erection. because he thinks...
Oh, come on.
He thinks humans have ugly bodies. Throw in some terrific 60s music and ingenious narration. Quote, I think she wants something of me. And what more could you ask for? I did watch this. It was very awkward.
I love that you watched all of these things. Like the other night, Christina was probably like trying to like relax. You know, it's been like a long day.
There's no way he watched
working.
all of these.
And Russ is over
I watched
in the
this.
corner.
This is like a hardcore. I couldn't find the movie. This is like a hardcore
You're just
little
going
clip from
one
1960.
after
You
another.
watched like the abbreviated versions, right? You watched the recaps. You didn't watch
I didn't
the
get
whole
to
of
see
these.
the good stuff, I guess you would say. I just saw...
You weren't allowed to. You got
I like
the
full
the,
nudity, though. I was like, all right.
He just
Sign
fast
me up for the
forwards.
SS Supreme Erection.
He just
coming
fast
soon.
forwards to the end of them.
Comes with the sour cream and cheese. All right.
Yeah, just scrub through it. All right, coming in at number 3, David Bowie shoots blanks in The Man Who Fell to Earth, 1976. I can always forget about that in alien movies. The fact that David Bowie did an alien movie, The Man Who Fell to Earth.
I didn't know about that at all. This is new to me.
Yeah, that's
He's
crazy.
an actual alien. So Bowie is a glam-looking alien who falls into obsessions with alcohol and television with his human lover, played by Candy Clark, and says, honestly, we really have a strange love for the cat-eyed, true-form Bowie in an earlier sex scene montage involving what looks like playful mud wrestling. But this is the more insane and notorious sex scene, and though we don't like thinking of shooting blanks and sex at the same time, the guns and lovemaking scene is pretty awesome in a ridiculous John Waters-esque kind of way. Coming in at number 2, another 80s one, Starman. It's one thing for an alien to look human, but when it looks like your dead husband, there's even more difficulty of resisting the urge to try out a very close encounter. Not that Karen Allen is quick to jump Jeff Bridges' Starman bones, aside from the fact that he's an extraterrestrial and the fact that sex with a clone of your husband is a bit too close to necrophilia because her husband's dead. Whoa, that's like our story earlier. It's like a clone of her husband here.
I mean, like Ghost, though, you still would. Patrick Swayze, you would.
Right.
Any of you would. Even if he wasn't your husband, you would.
I guess so. And it said, yeah, and she does too. Eventually, though, Alan's character falls for the doppelganger and makes love to it in a very romantic setting of a boxcar filled with hay. The best part comes afterwards,
That is
though.
so romantic.
When the Starman nonchalantly tells her, quote, I gave you a baby last night. Okay, so Starman coming in at number 2. And I'll give a little spoilers. This list, I wanted to kind of work it into the top 10 list kind of way. That was only 9 on the list. So coming in at number 1 for Rob. And since this list was only 9, the number 1 alien sex scene is the E.T. porn parody, where E.T.
Oh, no.
where
God.
E.T. is evidently a female and is made love to in a hardcore, disturbing porn from the 80s. That's it. Coming in number 1. E.T. porn parody.
I have seen this.
yes.
I have seen it.
Of course you've seen it. Oh, my
Of course,
God.
I had to see it. I'm a huge ET fan. So, of course,
Apparently you're a huge...
I have
Never mind.
consumed all sorts of ET media over the years. And yeah, it's definitely a thing that exists.
Yeah, and the word consumed was appropriately chosen, I guess. That's disgusting. But hey, you know what? To each their own. I'm not going to judge.
Yeah, well,
I'm
congrats
happy
to Rob.
for you that you had a good time with it.
And to E.T. for just taking over those completely. And all right, sorry for that whole sidetrack, but let's kind of close this
The craziest thing about the ET porn is it's not.
yes, please. Let's
It's
talk
not
more
even
about
in
that.
English. It's in a different language, and then it's translated into English as well. So it's like another layer.
But do you even know what language that was in?
It's either Portuguese or Spanish. I can't remember. It's been a little while. I watched it. We did play it last week.
I had it on
we
mute.
played
I
it
didn't
last
want to
week.
know what that
Our last
wanna hear
podcast,
it.
we did play it last week for everybody at Contact in the Desert in front of a giant
man, that's
audience
amazing.
of very serious UFO aficionado alien abductees. We made them all watch a snippet of
That's
the
beautiful.
ET porn.
Yeah, wait, you used someone's
That's
face
beautiful.
to cover the genitalias, right? Whose face did you cover?
It wasn't I
ET's?
didn't do it, but
I know you didn't
Steven
do it.
Spielberg. Steven Spielberg.
It was Spielberg, right? Okay, E.T. Got it.
Right.
Got it. Very good guy that started there. And it steals number 1 for that and many other reasons. But I'm sorry to take it off the rails a little. What should the poll be for this episode?
Oh, my God.
So what should the poll be? Should it be what's the best alien to have sex with? Or maybe it's just one of those yes, no's. Will you have sex with an alien? Yes, no, or other?
No, like I said, we got to be more creative with these. Let's say like, okay, it doesn't have to be like an ABC thing. It could be a yes or no thing.
How about
Would you-
this?
would
I
you?
have
That's
a
nice
suggestion.
and easy.
Okay,
But
what kind of alien would you like to have sex with?
that reminds me of the movie The Pest.
Which would you like to most
If a
have
hot
sex with?
alien woman came up to you and wanted to have sex with you, would you?
There you go.
Just
There it
yes or
is.
no.
What is it?
All right. So go answer that question. Go to unbelieverspodcast.com to answer that poll. And, well, here, let's get out of here.
I'm in fucking space. French kissing an alien's face. And I bet you wish it was yours. Damn, it's such a waste. 'Cause now I'm an alien's whore. Oh, now I'm an alien's whore.
The new Lana Del Rey sounds really weird.
How did she get hotter, dude?
No, it's good. It's good. We get the point. She's in fucking space. She's kissing an alien's face. Good, fun stuff. Wow.
She's not in fucking space. She's fucking in space.
Good stuff today. And man, we made a lot of references today, and we didn't really clarify too much. But last week, our boy here, Rob Okey, got to go to a great alien UFO convention, the Contact in the Desert. And you had contact with plenty of people that we know very well, yes?
Yeah.
I hope you washed your hands, dude.
I did wash my hands. I took several showers when I returned. I got a book signed by Travis Walton, Fire in the Sky, which is very cool.
That is what is up. That's
and,
tight.
On top of it, I also met Whitley Strieber. Mr. Whitley Strieber got a copy of Communion signed by him. It was really cool, man. I got to see Travis Walton basically tell his story firsthand with a slideshow that matched up with nothing that he was saying, which was kind of fun. And, it was really cool to get to mingle and be sort of in the same building with some of these people for a whole weekend.
Breathing the same germs as him.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Hopefully not too many germs because these guys are old. That's something that I realized once I started to meet everybody. Like Travis Walton, he's getting up there. Whitley Strieber, he's still looking good though. Whitley Strieber, he must work out or something. He's looking pretty good. It was just very, very crazy. Like I went up,
it's the alien spores.
I went up and spoke to Travis, and I realized once I got up to him that I didn't know what I was going to say to him. I had no plan. And the first thing that came out of my mouth was, "Hi, Travis. It's nice to meet you. Your story has terrified me since I was a little kid." And I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I told him that. And then I immediately backtracked and I said, well, obviously it wasn't as bad as what you went through. And then he gave me nothing. He gave me nothing. Really wasn't playing along with me. And then he kind of gave me a look and tilted his head and he said, well, over the years, one thing that I've come to learn and that's helped me is to realize that they're not monsters. Even though they look like monsters, they're not monsters. Wow. And that basically he thinks that they're looking over him, that his experience since then, he hasn't gotten sick. He said he's basically had very good health since he got abducted, which was interesting. But our conversation was brief. I didn't want to take up too much of his time. But
sure.
I got to have a few words.
That's really cool though.
Yeah. And
I think that's a really positive thing that shows that, for one, I've always believed him, but that shows me more than anything, his reaction to you being scared was like, why? Like he seemed confused why you'd be scared and just went on with what he was going to say. So that's the best kind of reaction I would have hoped to have heard from him.
It was very genuine. You could tell he's either he has told this story so many times that he's convinced himself that it happened, or this event happened to this man. It's very convincing, and the story's kind of crazy, but I
believe him.
In a nutshell, the whole weekend was truly unforgettable. The weird celebrities that were mixed in there, like Fred Durst was just walking around. I wanted to get a picture with Fred Durst so bad. But
Dave Foley was there from Kids in the Hall.
Dave Foley was there.
That's tight.
With him, which is really
that's
cool.
crazy.
One of the guys from Run the Jewels was there. It was just a bizarre mixture of people, and it was a once in a lifetime experience. But it sounds like I might get to go next year, so maybe it'll be a twice in a lifetime experience. All I'm going to say, if you get an opportunity, if anybody can go next year, go to Contact in the Desert. You may not be hopefully these guys will all be there next year. They'll all still be around. And if they are, go and see Travis Walton speak, go see Whitley Strieber speak, listen to what these guys have to say. There was also a bunch of crazy people. I'm not even going to give them the light.
No, we'll say this.
Discuss what some of the other stuff that I saw there. But it was so much fun, man.
I will nail Rob down to do something where we get him to kind of really talk about a lot of the other stuff. There's too much to talk about right now. And if you watch our most recent live stream, you'll see a video Rob took himself of George Norrie singing. Go check out our most recent live stream. I'll watch that.
My proudest thing I've ever filmed.
Very, very awesome stuff. So yeah, we'll find a way to get all these stories to rip these out of Rob. But we got some. We have to do something we haven't done a little bit because Rob, we had some stuff for you. Let's get to the Unbelievers voice mailbag.
The Unbelievers mailbag.
Ooh, right in the mailbag.
Hey man, check your mailbox.
Hey, you got some new mail over here.
Mailbag. The mailbag is cool. Mailbag.
Sup, bitches? It's mail time.
All right, I haven't played this in a little bit, but we have a couple of recent Unbelievers mailbag entries that we're going to listen to here. So
yeah, that's what it looks like.
What's up, dudes and Drea? This is the Whooper Hooper. Last time I can consistently use that sign in. Not the name, but the grade. Hey, it is sad, but it couldn't happen to a better guy. Robbie is so handsome. I think I might be in love with you, and that's okay. I'm not afraid to admit that. It's been cool hearing you on last podcast chiming in, but I will miss your regular contributions on this show. But all the success could have happened to a better guy. So, good on you, man. Well, I'm going to go check on my cows. I have a couple that are about to cows. You can hit that clip on my sound from bed. That'd be great. We'll see you around.
Aww.
Wow.
Oh, bud.
Man,
thank you for chiming in. Yeah, you've got to check on those cows that are about to cow.
I know.
If those cows are about to cow, you got to check on those cows that are about to cow.
He wants me to give him the cow clip. Here's the cow clip.
Went out to check the cows. We had some cows that were about to cow.
I appreciate the love, Whooping Hooper. It's so sweet of you to say that, and I will miss being here to hear your contributions on the show every week. But do not stop. Keep them coming, please.
Right, because he's not gone. He's not gone forever. He's just return. Going to be intermittently here.
All right. Thank you, Whooping Hooper, for those kind words. And yeah, leave us a voicemail at 469-420-0114. But Rob Okey, we have one more thing we have to do. What is that?
Oh, my God, man. It's time for poll results.
This week's poll, what would you make out of human skin? And the choices were lamp, corset, spooky mask, or woman suit. I'll ask you, Drea Mora, what do you think the Unbelievers said?
They're probably going to say option E, condom.
No, it's not an option, but all right. If you're
well, it is now.
All right, how about you, Rob? What do you think the Unbelievers said?
Oh, man, a skin condom sounds terrible.
Yeah, it does tell. I mean, like lambskin. Come on.
I could use a nice lamp. I could use a nice mood lamp for my apartment, so I'm going to go with lamp.
All right, well, sorry to both of you, because coming in with a whooping 60% of the vote, woman suit takes the win.
Yeah. They chose woman suit. They're going to make a woman suit.
Over spooky mask, corset, and lamp. But of course, there are others. What would you make out of human skin? A new face for Skeletor, Master of the Universe. From Unbelievable Penguin.
Skeletor, the Master of the Universe.
That is a good use for that skin because he needs it more than anybody. Good one, Unbelievable Penguin. What would you make out of human skin? My old dad made a skin boy out of a boy's skin. It was a stand-in for me while I was at boarding school. He's a monster. And that is, of course.
Scared of my dad guy.
Scared of my dad guy.
I get it. I would be scared of him too. That's terrifying.
What would you make out of human skin? Well, we're going to miss you, buddy. Thank you, Bites Out of Buildings. I think I put the option 2 when I posted this, if you just want to say something nice to Rob. So there you go. We're going to miss you, buddy. Bites Out of Buildings going to miss you. What would you make out of human...
Bites Out of Buildings.
Mm-hmm. There you go. What would you make out of human skin? Sad news, unbelievers. Robert, the talking New Yorker, is leaving us. I will be heartbroken in his absence, but remember, unbelievers, fight and you may die. Run and you'll live, at least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all those days for this day to that one chance? Just one chance to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. Congratulations, Robert, the talking New Yorker. Godspeed and good luck. That is from Boner.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
Boner Yogair coming in.
Boner Yogair, that was pretty fucking good.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Boner Yogair.
That was tight.
What would you make out of human skin? If I could, I'd make a skin flute. It would always be in my mouth. People would say, look at that mouth.
Yes, I'm voting for that one for sure.
And that's from also, Josh. Thank you, Josh. Unbeliever Josh coming in with that one.
Just Josh? His name is just Josh?
That's Unbeliever Josh coming in with that one.
All right, Unbeliever Josh.
Look at that mouth and that skin flute. What would you make out of human skin? The world's most boring Skeletor. And that would be from Ramadas. Oh, a couple of Skeletor references coming in.
Skeletor.
I gotta hear it.
The master of the universe.
Yeah, it's not Skinator. He's a skeleton. The one thing he doesn't have is skin. It's good when Ramadas.
Why limit him?
What would you make out of human skin? I would make Bigfoot some pants because I seen his ass. Why would I lie about that? Signed, Pam Z coming in.
Pam Z. Hell yeah.
Why would she lie about that?
Why would she lie about that? But at the same time, I do have to wonder, if you're going to make somebody pants out of skin, it's kind of redundant. And are they really pants?
Why would I lie about something like that?
True enough. True enough. You're right. You're right. I sit corrected. My bad.
She wouldn't lie about something like that. Thank you, Pam Z. What would you make out of human skin? The only thing Ed Gein was guilty of was sourcing his materials local. Real local. From the damn creeps. Thanks, damn creeps. Hey, you are giving me a damn creeps.
Hey, go. Give me a damn creeps, huh?
Oh, this place is giving you a damn creeps, huh? Why don't you cut out your whining?
Thank you. Damn creeps. What would you make out of human skin? So Zach Baggins can play with little dolls in a toy house and he's cool and mysterious, but when I play with my real dolls in my real house, I'm a pervert? Signed, K Mill. Ooh, good point, K Mill.
I do like imagining K Mill playing with his dollhouse. I could picture that actually.
His real dolls probably
he's got
really
a real doll
real
in his real house, and that's the problem there. Thank you, K Mill, always coming in strong. What would you make out of human skin? A bowl. Signed, Tony. All right, it's a good choice. We like our bowls.
Oh wow!
Come on, Rob. He wants a bowl.
Oh man, I'm gonna miss this clip. Miss playing this one.
We went to this room. There was this bowl on this table, and I was supposed to ejaculate into the bowl.
There you go, Tony. What would you make out of human skin? A special companion from Mothman Mother. A special companion indeed. Yes. Okay.
Please do.
What would you make out of human skin? After listening to D&D podcasts for over a year or so, I've finally gotten caught up with the unbelievable people of the Unbelievers Podcast. And if I had to go to space forever, I would probably miss my mother most of all. Oh, wait, we're talking about haunted museums in this poll. Potato fuck. A potato. Fuck. Yeah. Okay. They were trying to get caught up. They were answering the one from before and realized where they were.
When it comes to potatoes.
What did they say?
Thank you, Destin
potato?
Star.
I think we have.
In. Good
I think
one,
I have a
Destin
potato
Star.
clip. I have an old potato clip. Here we go.
Here we go.
Who eat potatoes trying to get into old pair of Levi's.
Right. Remember that one?
I do remember that one.
That works. I do not remember it, but I love it.
Perfect for Destin Star. What would you make out of human skin? I'd say barbecue, but Muscat won't let me use the flame grill anymore. Long story. Oh, Mascat. Time corrupted mask. All right, he'd say barbecue, but Mascat won't let him use the flame grill anymore. All right, corrupted mask. Okay. Thank you for chiming in, corrupted mask. What would you make out of human skin? Guys, I used to be really into Zach Baggins' core, but recently I'm getting into dollhouse music. Hillary Clinton stole my credit card as a real bop. Thank you, Wombat Preservationist.
My dollhouse is an exact replica of this dark fortress.
His dollhouse.
The dollhouse. The dollhouse. That's from Wombat Preservationist. And yeah, Hillary Clinton Stole My Credit Card is a real bop. Check out the Music Cube. That is Ivan Teller's new music channel. We've been diving into great, awesome stuff. Ivan's back. He's killing it. What would you make out of human skin? Ed Gein made a belt out of nipples. Now, I don't want to be too controversial here, but I prefer my nipples to be attached to people. Signed, Whooping Hooper. All right, Whooping Hooper, and I agree.
Really come for that. That's a good one. I agree as well.
I agree. Keep those nipples right where they are.
That was the Dungarvan Hooper. That was hooping.
And I think that's it. That was the final one for this one. So,
good.
Man, so many good ones to choose from this time. Oh man, some of the ones I liked a lot. I liked Unbelievable Penguin, a new face for Skeletor, Master of the Universe, because he could use it. Scatter My Dad guy, always killing it with my old dad. Made a skin boy out of a boy's skin. It was a stand-in for meals at boarding school. That one that's
very
terrifying.
Funny. Very funny.
Terrifying. Boner Yogurt gave us an entire speech, but he liked to call you Robert the Talking New Yorker, and he told you Godspeed and good luck. I like that one.
I'm giving it to him because he was so nice to me. He gave me such a sweet send off that I can only. I mean, everybody was so nice to me. Everybody who said goodbye and gave me a sweet send off or said anything at all to wish me on my way.
I think Rob is hinting that we should definitely pick somebody who said something nice about.
You don't have to. Today. You don't have to. But I just want to say thank you to everybody.
But Rob knows I'll read the entire one, and that's the longest one. But I like that he could. They would require that. But I'll give some honorable mention. I like K Mill so much. Zach Backens can play with little dolls in a toy house, and he's cool and mysterious. But I play with real dolls in my real house. I'm a pervert. I enjoyed that one.
I mean, it's true. You are a pervert, but who amongst us aren't?
Right. And also like Damn Creeps. The only thing Ed Gein was guilty of was sourcing his materials real local. All right. I like that. But Rob's calling it. I don't think we're going to get any say. So congratulations.
We should definitely call it that one. Yes.
So congratulations. With sad news, Unbelievers, Robert the Talking New Yorker is leaving us. I will be heartbroken in his absence. But remember, Unbelievers, fight and you may die, run and you'll live at least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, you'll be willing to trade all the days for this day to that for one chance, just one chance to come back here and tell your enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. Congratulations, Robert the Talking New Yorker. Good luck and Godspeed. Congratulations, Boner Yogair. You just won this week's poll results. All right, we've come to the end of the program. Before we go, Drea, Mora, you have anything you would like to say?
Rob, seriously, fuck you for leaving. I'm just kidding. We'll miss you forever, but you're not going anywhere. You're still sticking around. You're doing what you got to do.
I am.
And you're going to be busy, and we get that. But we wish you well. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Drea.
You're going to do great things.
Thank you, Drea.
Thank you.
And how about you, Rob Okey? You have anything you'd like to say or plug?
Oh, man.
No, fuck.
Oh, man. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's listened to the show over the years. And thank you so much to Drea for being my co-host, my other co-host. And thank you to Rus for running this ship and being the captain of the Unbelievers for so long and putting in so much work. And, thank you to everybody for supporting me and everybody for being cool with this decision that I've had to make, to take care of myself and do other things right now. And I'm very proud of this show and what we've built over the years. And I'm super proud of all the episodes, the 180 episodes that we did together. And this isn't it. I plan on coming back sooner than later for an episode. So, don't cry. Don't feel too sad. Rus and Drea are going to take great care of you guys. And, don't stop unbelieving. And I love you guys.
We love you too, man. And
man.
I don't have anything to plug. Just go, if you're not already, go follow Rob on Instagram and follow all his exploits and the great things he's going to do with the Last Podcast Network and the things he's already doing. You can already hear him on some of the shows, being the background guy in there.
Check out Side Stories. If you want to hear me more frequently, you may hear me every once in a while. Pipe in on Side Stories as the producer, Mike. So, check out Side Stories, support Last Podcast on the Left if you want to support me. And of course, support the Unbelievers Podcast, follow the Patreon, watch the streams, just keep supporting the show and keep the dream alive, guys. Keep it going.
That's right. We're going to keep on unbelieving. There we go. The Unbelievers Podcast host today were Drea, Mora, and me, Rus Ryan. Our producer and soundboard engineer is Rob Okey. Our editor is Issa YZ. You can join our Patreon by going to patreon.com/Unbelievers Podcast for monthly bonus episodes and more. You can follow the show on Twitter at Unbelievers Pod and Instagram at Unbelievers Podcast. Our Facebook group is the Unbelievable Podcast Network. You can check out our merch store at TeePublic. There's a link in the description. Our music advisor is Pandora 3373. Our official composer and theme song creator is Unbeliever AA Ron, aka Aaron Schilb. Follow him on Instagram at the Aaron Schilb. Our official graphic designer and card maker who designed our logo is Raymond Rowell. Check out his work at Harley Warren Art on Twitter and harleywarren.com on the internet. Our official Guardian of the Bench is at Kraken Stack. Our official Alien Bopper is Nunchuck Bop. And from Patreon, our official Reptilian at the Post Office is Postal Patty. Our official extraterrestrial woman still waiting for hashtag rubbing heads to trend is Crescent Moon. Our official Reverend Doctor of the podcast is the non-Newtonian Druid. Our official Big Island Paranormal Friendly Weatherman is Green Finnog. Our official Procrastinator is Jeffrey Hartneriff. Our official Baby Yoda publicist is Pam Z. Our official Unbeliever listening between the stations for a message from Art Bell is Scott E. Our official Unbelievers raising Puckwudgies is Joe Filler. Our official Madman is Unbeliever Adam. Our official Unbeliever Time Traveler is Taylor Nelson. Our official Ghost Hunter is Amelia Child and Ghost Hunting in New England. And our official senior European correspondent is Kamo the I Don't Know Podcast. Our official paranormal art curator is Isis Haynes. Our official Rod is Rob. Our official Unbelievers in need of titles are Mike Henry, Todd Exler, Vicious, Sandra, Deborah Foles, Ramiro, Trash Baby, Adam Dvorak, Retroid Josh, and this week's Unbeliever Focus is our very own Rob Okey, who is stepping back from regular show appearances. Will he return?
We don't know. We may never know.
We are hoping he will be back. We will hope he'll be back to tell us things like,
I sent that girl into outer fucking space.
And one thing Drea and I will not miss, though, is the
constant fart gas aimed in our direction.
But I see that your ride is here, and as you float off, Godspeed, my friend. It has been an honor. Good night.
Discontinue! Discontinue!